Matthew Warren. I work with Spike and THriV. I'm in law school studying to be an attorney, and yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. So,
not the interesting one here. He's the interesting one.
No, good. So let's talk about you going to school for law. What law do you plan on doing? And
right now, I work at a firm in Wellman and Warren. We do civil litigation, and I really like that. It's just it's a battle. It's fighting. It's a different arena of fighting, but yes. You're fighting within you have specific rules that you have to follow. Just like MMA, you can't punch people in the back of the head.
Yeah.
You can only use certain types of evidence, but at the end of the day, you're trying to prove what you're trying to prove and beat the opponent. So I really like that part of it. It's just a fight, and you have to be creative. You have to be diligent and thorough, and so that's the type of law I see myself doing, and that's really what I like about it.
Awesome. Good. Spike.
Howdy, everyone. Spike, the Alpha Ginger Carlyle, also known as the Crucifixion, and in Japan, the Red Berserker. I'm a pro MMA fighter based from San Diego, California. Now I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. So been with THriV for about 10 months now, and I love it here. So stoked to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Awesome. Welcome. Aaron.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aaron Dodson. I'm one of the original guys at THriV Organic Food, and we're really excited to be here today.
What do you do over here?
I do everything. We just we're in sales marketing, trying to get this volume going better and better, and it's looking really good lately because we just launched 4 new bars, and they're out there and working, and we're coming up to speed. Hopefully you'll see us all over the place soon, like before.
Awesome. Hi, Adam Vincent Gilmer here. I put this crazy company together called THriV, and the reason I put the company together was to actually help people not only get incredible products with amazing ingredients, but to be a competitive player in the space and an active participant in making sure we can fight against several things. One is human malnutrition, because every bar that sells, we contribute to malnutrition sources that help feed children globally around the world. And we also contribute to organizations that help fight against childhood trafficking and women from being trafficked as well. So really excited to be at the podcast here today. You've already heard from some of the guests. What I'd like to do is kind of go over to Matthew and say how you and Spike kind of got together, Matthew, and how all this came about, because I think people don't know what the history is, and I think that's good for our listeners to know how this developed.
Yeah. So I was living in Utah for a while, going to school, moved back to California. I was working with an attorney at our firm, and he knew Beneil Dariush. He's a UFC fighter, trains out of King's MMA. I actually think he's the main guy up there, the one in Placentia, Anaheim, California. And the attorney that I was working with introduced me to Beneil. We started talking to some of his younger fighters and whatnot. And then it just came, I think your manager, Josh Kim, I want to say, sent us an email looking for some potential short sponsorships for his upcoming fight. And we thought that this might be a good match to make. So we tried to connect them, and it's worked out so far. So hopefully it keeps working out.
Awesome. And Spike, going over to you, can you want to kind of give our listeners a little bit of background on how you got into mixed martial arts? And
yeah,
because most people don't, our listeners don't know, right? So they need to be educated and kind of brought up to speed.
Yeah. I always say I was fighting in the womb. I was born to fight. So been doing martial arts since I was a little child. I started karate when I was 4. I did that for a couple years and started wrestling when I was 12. And then I saw these fights happen when I was about 15 in Japan. It was called Pride FC, and there was these big Titan men fighting over there. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So yeah, here we are 15, 16 years later. And
so what kind of martial arts have you studied? And obviously, is it one style or is it various styles?
Yeah. I've done it. I've competed in wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, karate. Done a little Tai Chi. I've done a plethora of martial arts, and I'm obsessed with it. I love competition. I love what the martial arts gives to me and gives to others, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. So, what kind of level are you in martial arts? Because there's all these different belts and what have you. But I think it'd be good for people to know that too.
Yeah, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a black belt in judo, and then they don't really give out belts for like wrestling or Muay Thai and boxing. But I've had quite a few competitions. I've competed well over 100 times in various different martial arts. So yeah.
So what was the highest, like, when you realized, hey, listen, I'm going to turn this into like a career? When was that? When did that happen?
Yeah. So I had my first amateur MMA fight in California right when I turned 18. As soon as I was able to do so, I was like, all right, sign me up. And I was still in high school. So I had my first amateur fight in high school against like a 30-year-old. So it was trippy. Yeah, 30-year-old grown man. I thank God I won. So, but yeah, so and not to go, to take too long, but I stopped around I did like a few more fights, and then I stopped martial arts for about a year and a half. I wasn't I'm a man of God. I follow Jesus now, and I didn't before. And when I started, and when I came to Jesus, he kind of took away the martial arts for a little while. I think that's because my identity was wrapped up in being like this tough guy, tool bag MMA fighter. And so he stripped that from me for a little bit, but then it stayed in my heart. He gave it back to me. And I said, God, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it for your glory, for your ministry. And so that's what I believe. Fighting is my ministry. And so since about 21, I've been working towards becoming a professional in this sport.
And how important is like nutrition to your workout schedule and what you do in preparing for a fight?
Yeah.
And, do you do a cutting phase? Kind of walk us through what you do there.
Yeah. So I compete at lightweight. So in Japan, it's 71 kilos, so about 156. Right now I weigh about 185 to 190. So there's definitely.
So you're heavyweight now.
Yeah. I call it my. Yeah. I say when I get above 175, when I'm under 175, I'm a tiger. When I get above 175, I become a tippo. The mix between a tiger and a hippo. So I'm in my tippo.
Hashtag tippo.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, obviously, losing 30 pounds and then having to compete, I definitely take my nutrition seriously. I take my periodization process, my weight loss very seriously. So a lot of these weigh-ins are the day before. So what we're doing is a water dehydration process. So I will get my natural walk-around weight to about 170. And then you never want to cut more than 10% of your body weight in water. So I will get my walk-around weight to about 170 a week before the fight. And then I will dehydrate myself till I get to the target weight, and then I just put it all back on. So I'll weigh in at 156, and I'll compete at 175.
Right.
So I'll put 20.
So you're not giving away any secrets in the space, right? This is what everybody does, kind of in the space, right?
Yeah, it's some people have called it sanctioned cheating, but everyone's doing it. It is what it is. If you want to compete at the highest levels, you're going to try to do everything that's advantageous to you. So if you can make the weight and recover for the fight, and no one's going to stop you. So might as well.
So where are you now ranked, and kind of give us a little history of that? Because I know I don't know exactly where you are, but I think it's good for people to know. Yeah.
So right now I'm currently fighting for Rizin Fighting Federation in Japan. It's like kind of like the UFC of Japan. So I've been over there since 2022, so going on about 2.5 years now. The good news is I am like I just won my last fight, thank God. So I'm like I would say I'm in like the top 2 or 3 of the contenders. So they have a title fight the end of this month for my weight class. So maybe one more. If I win that, then I get the title shot, or maybe they'll give it to me now. So very close to becoming a world champion, God willing.
And how many kind of like fights do you do like in a 12-month period? What's kind of like the norm?
Yeah. So, we can't control what happens in the fights and training, and but typically an average fighter gets about 3 fights in a year. And you got your peaking process, weight cutting, if you got any injuries in your last fight. So, like my last fight, I dislocated my hand in the first minute. And so I had a minor surgery recently. So I'm still almost 100%. Thank God I can punch hard now, but I still have a little bit of issues, but we're working through it. So yeah, about 3 times a year was the average for fighters.
All right, good. Well, before we go into like your workout and what you do
Yeah.
and stuff, well, I want to get with Aaron and talk about really, Aaron. I want to kind of go back and start talking about Organic Food Bar, how it got started, and then what you did with them, and then we'll talk about THriV in a moment. But I think it's good for the listeners to know how the company was started and why you're on board.
Yeah. So, well, going back to the late 90s. 97 or so. And
you're dating yourself. It's okay.
Yeah, well, I've learned to not worry about that anymore. I used to hide it. I no longer hide it. I mean, I am what I am. Anyway, old. No, but so way back then, I was actually an engineer and who discovered nutrition. I was actually a pre-med dropout. And for some reason, I defaulted as an engineer. So, and I decided, I discovered nutrition after 20 years of practicing engineering. I discovered nutrition, and I thought, oh my gosh, we can heal the human body with nutrition. I never knew that. They didn't teach us that in engineering school or even pre-med. So I just got really involved with, formulations and things. And I met our former owner from way back. And Adam, you were involved at that time as well. We all got together. We did some formulations. We did some products. And that went on for up until just a couple of years ago when that company finally was acquired by you. And so I've been there the whole time. Harold McCambridge, who was the original inventor of the Organic Food Bar, is still with us, and that's great news too. He's not here tonight, but he'll be on other broadcasts. And so yeah, we just we're still doing what we were doing, and what we were doing was pretty much telling people, well, we're into education. We had homeopathic, naturopathic doctors, nutritionists. I got trained by all these guys. Plus, I have a science background anyway, so I started researching deep into human health. And it's really all about food and water. The proper food and water, and clean. It's got to be clean. You'll even see today on the political side of things, they're even talking about doing something about all the chemicals and things that are
in the food. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's even becoming, a national issue too, which is great. And so that's what we've always done. We used to say our logo originally was why eat junk food disguised as nutrition bars when you can have the real thing, So we keep all the chemicals out. And while I'm on the subject, for all of you that are out there, you have to read your ingredients. Very, very important. So here's a quick list of things that we want to avoid in the nutrition bars, especially. This is specific to nutrition bars, although there's a lot of other food things that we can talk about too. But for nutrition bars right now, you want to avoid soy protein isolates, non-organic, that is, glucose syrup, canola, vegetable glycerin, which is a sugar alcohol. They don't say that, but it is. Egg whites without the yolk depletes biotin. Erythritol, sorbitol, sucralose, and also going down to even oats. What's wrong with oats? Well, gluten actually, and there's something called, even in the gluten-free oats, there's something called avenin, which results in the same side effects as gluten. So there's really no such thing as gluten-free oats.
So what you're saying is that this is what to avoid in products.
We want to avoid these
Yeah.
things.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We do not use these things, but we have resources. So get in contact with us, and we can send you information on that.
So so over the 20 plus years that you've kind of done this, Aaron, what have you found out versus the ingredients that you're saying not to have versus what some other nutrition bars in the space are doing?
Well, it just seems like all of the most popular brands out there today have at least one of these unwanted ingredients in them. And so, we stay away from those things, and we promote, clean ingredients that you can read. A lot of the bar companies, they just have one or two or three ingredients, and, I'm sure everybody's familiar with some of these. I won't mention any names. One of them said,
yeah, let's not. Our attorney's present.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's funny because one of them says, they list their ingredients, and then the last item is no BS. Okay, but then when you turn it over, it says it has natural flavors. So that's pretty common, right? I mean, people put natural flavors on something, but what's the problem with that from your perspective and study and research? What's the problem with natural flavors? With natural flavors, and specifically non-organic natural flavors, there's another major company that has a 100% organic kids bar, except for one little problem. It has natural flavors, non-organic natural flavors. They can squeeze 5% in there and still be certified organic. So they squeeze in these natural flavors. Now, what's wrong with natural flavors? Because it sounds pretty natural, doesn't it? But, what they can do is, this is an FDA thing. And what they can do is they can sneak in, for example, if you're vegan, they can put in animal secretions from insects, and they can sneak in things like aspartame and MSG. And they don't have to disclose it on the ingredients. And that's because it's under 5%. Yeah, and that's just the way they've done it. Now, in correlation, just for the listeners, what don't we do? Why don't we do that? Why are we so meticulous about what we're doing inside of THriV Organic Food Bars? Well, because these things, these ingredients that I'm talking about here, even though they're considered GRAS, which is generally regarded as safe by the FDA. If you drill deeper into the internet, when you Google these ingredients, you'll see all nice things about it. Yeah, everybody uses it. But when you drill a little bit deeper into studies and things, and PubMed and places like that, you find studies that relate many of these things to all kinds of negative issues: heart disease, diabetes, even cancer. I'm a wellness and cancer coach, so I'm especially interested in things related to cancer. And so I'm not saying all these things cause cancer, but many of these ingredients have been found to support, tumorigenesis in rats and in studies. So the bottom line is, a long time ago, way back in the beginning, our rule was, when you put something in your body, are you going to be healthier after than you were before? And I'm sorry to say, you just can't say that about these ingredients in some of these most popular bars. And so we try to make that statement true as much as possible. We're not perfect either, but the ingredients that we do use, we feel are beneficial to the human body, rather than a negative. So before we transfer into the sports nutrition and why it will help Spike and other athletes and what have you, recover or do better, what have you, where do we buy our ingredients from? Where do we not buy our ingredients from? And I think that's a huge distinction, because people look at our products and think, well, we're a little higher priced than some of the competition, and we are, but there's a reason for that. Yeah, well, so let's get into the organic certification. And a lot of people, again, many of the major bars out there in the market today, they aren't certified organic. They may be non-GMO verified. They may be gluten-free, so people see a couple logos and they just figure, oh, it's organic, but it's not. And we know the struggle that we had to go through to certify organic and the way it has financially impacted us, because this is very costly. And so what we think is, how much does your bar manufacturer, bar supplier care about you as a human being? Do they care enough to go all the way and certify organic, the food that they're providing on the store shelf, or do they just not care? Okay, but we care, and we care in many ways. We care in that way. So we're going to go through the trouble and the suffering, and it really is suffering sometimes, to make organic, clean food happen for the public. And then Adam has his 1-for-1 program that also is a great complement to this. Let me read you something that I'm getting off a little bit on a tangent here, but I want to read this before I forget. Adam did an AI on the company, just to see what it would pull up,
ChatGPT.
And I think I read this and I thought, oh my gosh, I never even thought of these things. This is amazing. I'm starting to like AI. Anyway, it says, imagine a company that not only provides you with the highest quality vegan, organic, and non-GMO foods, but also harnesses the power of the sun, contributes to global welfare, and fights against atrocities of human trafficking, all with each purchase you make. Isn't that cool?
Special.
It's a pretty good ad.
where do you buy?
Thank you, ChatGPT.
I know. Where do you buy a piece of food and it does all those things? You know. So my hat's off to Adam, especially, and our 20-year struggle with trying to be popular out there with organic food.
So before I transition back to Spike and talk about why these ingredients are good, what are the other labels we have on our products that set us apart from all the competition?
Yes, we are certified organic. We are made in a 100% solar facility for everyone that is all into, global, what do you call it?
You mean sun energy versus electric energy?
Yeah. That aspect of things. So we have that covered for sustainability as well. We are kosher certified. We're also halal certified. We're gluten-free certified. And did I leave something off? We're mostly raw, and
obviously non-GMO.
Yeah, non-GMO is a given.
Right.
Yeah.
So would it be safe for somebody who's on a vegan diet only to take these products? And would it be safe for somebody who's not on a vegan diet to take these products, and why? Because vegans are very, very specific about what they want. But why is it also safe for like a non-vegan person to actually consume THriV organic food?
Yeah, because it's just the best food for anybody. Vegan, we don't have to worry about vegan, non-vegan. We're not even vegan certified because we are plant-based, vegan in everything we do.
Right.
And all vegetable. I'm not saying that a little bit of the other animal proteins and things aren't okay. We just aren't doing that right now. We haven't done it, and so we're all go green is what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah, got it.
Go green and plant-based.
So let me ask the question. So for an athlete, I know we got one of the top athletes here in mixed martial arts, and looking to be number one.
Yes.
Okay. So for an athlete, or some people that are listening, maybe they're whether they're riding their bike, or they're lifting weights, or they're snowboarding, or whatever. They're active. They're living an active lifestyle. Why would they want to choose this product versus some of the products that are out there? And what does this mean to their bodies as they digest and use these kinds of products?
Yeah. So
getting back to Spike,
what's really happening, Spike, is you're like 100 billion cells. You're 100 billion little batteries, and each one of those little batteries, if you go inside and look around, like in our little dome here, if you go inside of that cell, you'll see mitochondria, you'll see a nucleus, you'll see RNA, DNA, and what happens is all of these chemical ingredients that everybody's using in the food nowadays, it's getting in there, and it's a metabolic issue. So it's metabolic. The I don't know if I can say this or not, but the medical industry considers a lot of diseases genetic, but it's really a metabolic issue. It's being proven more and more every day. It's metabolic. So if we can keep your cells, first of all, properly hydrated and free of the bombardment of these toxins that are coming in from the air we breathe, the food we eat that we can't control, the water we drink that we can't control. If we can somehow prevent these little metabolic, enemies from getting into your cells, then you're going to be much better off, healthier, more energy, especially, and just, overall feeling of well-being is what it does to you.
So we actually helped him win his last fight. Okay, perfect.
That's true. We're the cause of your winning.
I'm teasing. I'm having fun. So, and that's important. What I'm trying to get across to the people that are tuning in and listening and watching is that the reason what makes us so different is that we care about that stuff, and from a cellular level. And that's why I looked at buying this company. I said, well, let me take Organic Food Bar and let's go make it a worldwide company now, where we're starting to distribute products, which we're starting to do, and it's starting to catch on now. And it's funny, people think that success happens overnight. We're going on now 2 years of doing this, and finally things are starting to happen in different places. You can find us online, you can find us in different places. But I want to get back over to Matthew and Spike and ask them questions, and have them maybe give some feedback. If you guys were going to, you walk into a store, right? We're distributed through different places and whole food buying places and what have you, and you go into a store and you look on a shelf and you go through all the different bars and all the different competitors that are on there. The only thing that's going to make a bar jump out is if you hear about it, right? And I've been fortunate. I've been in the word of mouth, selling industry for 30 plus years, and that's how I got to make a living and make things happen. But nothing jumps off the shelf and says, "Oh, hey, look at me!" Right? The way we get out to our listeners and maybe future customers is they're hearing this particular podcast and talking about stuff, but. And I know you guys have maybe tried different products, but what do you guys like about these products? And I know we're promoting them in a way, but from genuinely what you're feeling about when you bite into a THriV bar.
I mean, I probably reflect the average consumer more so than Spike or anybody, because I'm not a professional athlete. But when I eat them, they taste good, they're good portion, and I would rather always eat the most healthy option that's available. But going through the store, I mean, you go to Walmart and there's aisles and aisles of all types of stuff, and you don't really know what's healthy and not. And for me, I'm always busy, so I always have to just get something and go. And I don't know if I'm always getting the most healthy option. So it's nice that I know that these are healthy and they're accessible to me. But if I don't know about something, I'm usually just going off of packaging, or like Adam said, just a brand that I'm familiar with, not necessarily knowing if it's the best health-wise or not. And I think that's just how most consumers probably shop, in my opinion.
And Spike, from your perspective of being an athlete?
Yeah, of course, nutrition is one of the most important things. So you are what you eat, truly. And like you were saying about how we're finding out a lot of these diseases people are having is because of poor nutrition, poor eating, choosing the wrong things to eat. So, and obviously when I'm not only eating just because I want to it tastes good. I'm eating for performance. I'm eating as fuel, and this is life. This is fuel. I'm a Formula One sports car. I'm not going to put average gasoline in it. So it's the same thing with this. That's why I love these bars, especially right after a workout. It's one of the most important windows to get your protein in, so I can get a nice workout session in, get my bar, and then maybe 45 minutes, an hour later, I can go have a big meal. But this is something that is vital for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the last piece, so we can wrap this up, and we can talk about some other things, but we also have protein powders, right? And we didn't really get into those, talk about those, but I'd like to cover those too. That's how kind of THriV got started. We came out with organic plant-based protein powders. We have 2 flavors. We have chocolate and vanilla. And it was funny. So, I worked with Aaron and Harold back years ago, and when organic food bar was first getting started, and fast forward to where we are like 2 years ago. Aaron's like, well, you have protein powder? I'm like, yeah. He says, well, can I try it? I'm like, here, check it out and read the label. And I know, Aaron, you're kind of like a meticulous freak when it comes down to like what's in it and what have you. So what did you like about the protein powders? I know it's a compliment to the bars and it's an extra meal and so on and so forth, but what is it that you saw in those that you kind of said, oh, well, we're on the right track?
Oh man, I was so happy that, after working with you for, working with you 20 years ago, and then we come back together, and then you have this protein. I'm going, what does he have in the protein? Because am I going to agree with those ingredients? Mm-hmm. And so I grabbed the ingredients. I started reading the ingredients, and it's perfect. It's like he did a great job. I
had some help.
Learned something back then.
Well, no, and this is important because when you're turning out products, you don't only just turn out Me Too types of products. That's why when organic food bar was we had the option of doing something. I was like, okay, let's go do it, but let's take it and market it well, right? And so back over to you, Spike. If the listeners that are listening in, and we're obviously going to push this out, and obviously promote you. We want you to become number one. That'd be great. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. But what would you like to tell the listener in wrapping up and saying, hey, besides us being aligned in faith and all that stuff, which is great. Okay. Yeah. What would you want the listeners to know about you and THriV and moving forward?
Yeah. Well, besides faith, I love the 1-for-1 program, and that kind of ties into our faith in a way. But right. but I think that's what's exceptional about this is this is a company that I don't want to be sponsored by Joe Schmo or someone I don't agree with or like or don't
right.
hold the same values. But this is a great company that's trying to do the right thing, and that's the most important thing in my opinion. We're making amazing products that are good for you, and we're trying to help people that we can on the way. So that's everything to me. We're not just here to serve ourselves, but it's better. Here I go again. better to give than to receive. So I love that I can be represented by a company that has a great standard.
Well, for those folks that are tuning in, if you go to our THriV website and you follow the link that's in Spike's profile, and you click on the 1-for-1 link, you'll actually see that year to date, we've actually helped save 124,032 folks when it comes down to feeding. And we do the same thing when it comes down to childhood trafficking and women being trafficked. The reason we do this is because the competitors, although they make a lot of money with selling their products and they don't have the same ingredients we do, the reason why we focus on this specifically is we want to be able to give back in the right way. And it's very important to have a company that's making money and a for-profit company, because this isn't a nonprofit. This is actually based off of real numbers.
Really?
Yeah, real numbers that we do. Can you imagine that? So for those folks tuning in, we have 372,096 bars. So by the way, this is live, okay? I want to say thank you to our tech guru back there, okay, who made all this work. But when somebody actually purchases it, it shows up on our website live. It doesn't matter whether they're buying from your link or anybody else's link. Spike, same thing. You see that. You see this actually happening. We're not just making this happen. This is actually real time. Okay. And if we refresh as the sales come in, this is our goal we're planning on reaching, which is 627,904 bars to go. And when we say it's a goal to reach, what we just want to do, we wanted to help, have 1 million bars sold, right? And the game plan was to do this. And you can actually see the sales coming in. Stephanie just made she just recently did this. This shows up on our site. This is how our software works. And if we refresh the site, you'll actually see these numbers going up in real time. Cool. And what's great about people to understand is that globally around the world, it shows you that 811 million people go hungry each night. Okay. 890 million are malnutritious. 49,600,000, okay, are living in modern day slavery. And out of that, 17,360,000 are children. Okay. So it's a huge impact that we're making. And the main reason for putting a podcast like this together, getting together, Spike, I want to thank you for coming down and making the time to get here, is so we can start to educate people on what we're actually doing. Okay. And we hope that this message gets out to, obviously, a lot of people, and they start to see exactly what we're doing as a company. Any final thoughts as we go around the room?
We're good for the planet and good for you.
Hallelujah.
Not much from me, but tune into Spike's next fight. He has some cool t-shirts.
Yeah. When is the next fight?
So we were thinking November, but we're having a little bit of complications. So God willing, they do a big show on New Year's Eve. So that'd be really cool to do. So maybe New Year's Eve, if not early sometime next year. So.
All right. Well, what I'd like to do in the ending, just so we can spur on the listeners and what have you. So if you're following us along on the podcast and you want to follow Spike on Instagram, what have you. But if you're going to go ahead and buy from us, Spike's link and actually join in this concept of actually one-for-one and making things work and buying through that link, here's what we're willing to do. So what I'm going to say is for the next 100 people who come through and buy and say, listen, I'm going to be coming in, you not only get 20% off on the products because the 20% link will jump up there, but we'll double your order. Okay. Wow. So that means, Spike, that goes out to your followers and what have you as they come through. Cool. And that way we're getting products away and doing marketing and promotion. And do me a favor, everybody, share it with somebody. Tell somebody what we're doing. And we can't wait to see you on another podcast.
Sweet. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Take care. God bless everybody.
Godspeed.
God bless.